All right, so here we go. I am Coach Malik Hall, and this is Catch Up with Coach, the Thursday brunch. Supposed to be a little bit, I don't really know what brunch means. It's like half breakfast, half lunch. That's the first combined word of its time, I think, maybe. And so, hey, this is the brunch hour. Da, da, da. All right, so a lot has happened this week. A lot has happened. A lot is taking place in my life. As a coach, when you lose a coach who is dear to you, it is never, ever, ever easy to stop the time machine. You know, I've been jumping in a DeLorean unintentionally or unintentionally, I should say. Reminiscing on Coach Ed Argas and how he brought me up in coaching. And so, yeah, shedded a lot of tears this past week or Monday, Tuesday, past weekend. So if you were wondering why I was quiet on social, I was going through some stuff. And so, as I'm now no longer because I'm not coaching right now, and because losing Coach Argas and me being able to coach with him in his last stop, and it be the school that was his first stop, I'm not that good. I'm not that good. So I'm thankful that God gave him the opportunity to finish his coaching career as the interim head coach at Bates College. I'm also thankful that I was able to be with him in a process as he watched me start my career at a school that he started his career at, and that gave me an opportunity to be a head football coach. So that was what was going on. It was a lot. It was a lot. It's still a lot. I'm still figuring it out. I'm still mourning. I'm still trying to get my bearings together. Coach Argas meant a lot to me and a lot of people. What he taught me at a game of football is endless, because football gives you so many scenarios on how to deal with people, how to deal with egos, how to give trust, to give players and your coaches an opportunity to give trust back. So yeah, man, shout out to anyone who has been fortunate enough to be around Coach Argas, to be coached by Coach Argas. And yeah, rest in peace, Coach Argas and the Argas family. My prayers and condolences go out to you all. Again, they've taken me in like a son. I spent more Thanksgivings at their house than I can tell you. All right, so all right. I'm still working through some stuff. So I appreciate you letting me work through it. Whether you enjoy it or not, it's not your show. So, all right, we're going to talk about the egos. Once again, they have not really been on my radar of conversation, partly because once I put it out there early on when they went 2-0, everyone was like, I talked about it. Check out my timeline, go back in my feeds. It's called the Jalen Hurts method. Them being 7-0 does not surprise me. What surprises me is that people don't believe in the Eagles 7-0 record. Like, that's what's shocking to me. And partly is because I don't believe that the overall consensus is Jalen Hurts is going to be able to win them a Super Bowl. That's why the Eagles, being an undefeated team and still not getting the undefeated respect they not only earn but deserve. They're the only undefeated team left in the NFL. And so it's fitting that we talk about Thursday in this regard. You will not see a whole lot of, you won't see on a Thursday turnaround. When you play Sunday and you got to turn it around Thursday. As a player, it is very, very difficult to turn games over that fast. But as a coach, it is your job to make that transition as seamless as possible, because physically they have not recovered. Not only have they not recovered physically, depending on the win, how you won or how you lost, whatever happened in between the last game, that also would dictate how they recover mentally. And now all teams are not the same. Some teams recover faster mentally than others, and the Eagles being 7-0 suggests that they can recover much faster than most or than the rest of the NFL. But here's the kicker. The Eagles are going down to the Texans. Here's the problem when you play a crappy team. When you play a crappy team, if you play a crappy team and the coaches are good, the coaches are motivating next year's roster, right? The coaches are trying to set a tone for who we can keep, who we gotta cut. That's what makes this a trap game for the Eagles, because no one knows right now what the Texans may or may not be. Right now, they're 1-5-1. You know, this roster is going to look dramatically different next year. But the Eagles have a trap game right now for that reason and that reason only. And because the trade deadline was on, most of these guys at the Texans, if they were on the trade deadline or if they were being whispered to be traded, it was house money. So this week, particularly this week, is a trap game regardless of who it was. But more importantly, it's a trap game because it's the Texans and they have not won. And so the Eagles, hopefully, and if they run the ball and they allow Jalen Hurts to just nickel and dime and not try to do nothing extravagant, nothing very sexy, they'll be fine. However, I see this game going 21-13, the Eagles taking it. It will be a tight one. It will be, and don't be surprised if the Eagles have to come back to win the game, right? Don't be surprised if they have to come back to win this game, just because of the nature of good coaching, crappy team, great opportunity for young players, great opportunity for coaches to motivate the team and let them know, hey, this roster is changing. So you either put up or get put out. And that's the reality of the NFL. And so, all right, let's talk Chargers, Falcons. Man, the NFL is as equaled out as it's ever been, I guess is the best way to put that. Like it's all is equal, you know, and much of that reason is because the Patriots stink. They don't stink, but the Patriots are not they are not running the league right now. And so when I think about the Chargers, I think about Herbert, they got some talent over there. The Falcons are very nondescript, but sitting at 4-4. And even though the Chargers have to travel to Atlanta, I don't see this being an issue for the Chargers and Herbert. They should be able to get this done. And in fact, I think they should get it done in good fashion by more than 2 possessions. Okay. Now, the game that I do want to really talk about, and I'll probably stay on a little longer. The Dolphins and the Bears. Dolphins, Bears, Dolphins, Bears, Dolphins, Bears. Oh man, what to say? I mean, these two young quarterbacks are probably some of the top end athletes at the quarterback position in the NFL right now. And so, as you look at Fields, you look at Tua. Tua beat the Lions last week. I still didn't feel like they should have played Tua for the sake of everyone around Tua. To be able to say, hey, we can win without Tua and Tua back and take that. Like that's would have been my approach. But again, I'm approaching it that way from a slow burn standpoint, as if like I got 7 years to get this sorted out. You only got 7 years, cuz you got 2, maybe 3. And if you get 3 years, like you doing something really, really good in year 1 and 2. All right. And obviously contracts don't mean anything in the NFL because it's a dollar thing, right? Saw what happened to Matt Rule over there at the Panthers. And the Panthers, they gave that man they just signed him to a contract. I know. Let's square back up. Dolphins, Bears, Fields, Tua. I don't know how you feel, but I'm excited to watch this game. I'm excited to see what these two dudes do. I mean, look, I think from a coaching standpoint right now, offensively, Miami is well oiled, and I think their timing, offensive timing, lends to Tua and Tua to the receivers and everything. All Tua has to do is just get rid of the ball and not try to razzle dazzle it. If he has to run, get your 5 yards, get out of bounds, slide, and do not slide head first. Okay, those are the rules for Tua if I'm going into this game. But the rules for Fields, I don't think that the Bears have figured out how to manage Fields yet, man. The fact that he even beat the Pats, I'm actually baffled about that victory because I'm actually not baffled about the victory because that's Belichick's nemesis, a running quarterback. But I didn't think he played great. I think they just lended to running the ball, and he made some scampers that will cut Bill Belichick up every time. And so I'm going to go on a limb and tell you the Bears will lose this game, even though it is in Chicago. I see the Bears losing. This probably by at least 2 possessions. Yeah, I believe more. Like, look, I believe that the Bears defense can get it done, but unfortunately, Fields reminds me of all of the young quarterbacks right now are going through growing pains. Unfortunately, that can be prevented in some cases just by how many times you're saying you're going into the game throwing this ball. And believe me, I understand. I know some of the listeners are tired of hearing me say it. Whatever. Like, if they're saying we got to throw the ball with Fields 35 times to win this game against Miami, whose defense is just okay, I'm saying this is why the Bears right now, it doesn't look good versus Miami. Because Miami's offensive timing is just much better than the Bears, though the Bears' defense is better than Miami's. Yeah, I just see this as being one of those situations where the Bears can mess around and try to throw the ball one too many times, or get in a shootout for that matter. If this becomes a shootout, which it could very well be, this could be a 30-31 kind of situation. If it gets into a shootout, I'm still giving it to Tua. And here's why. Here's why. Because I think the Dolphins are calling plays that they're really clear that Tua can execute. I don't know if you were following before. I wonder if the Bears. I wonder. Most quarterback coaches do this, and most coordinators probably do this. But I wonder if they ask Fields, okay, game on the line, give me your top 12 plays. Like, think about that. Because if he has 6 plays as his top 6 plays as run plays in his top 12, that's saying something to you. I mean, like, that's what the tip sheet should look like to me, right? At least ask questions in the tip sheet that's going to give you answers. That's going to be like, okay, wow, this is interesting. He likes this more than that. He likes this more than that. No matter how much we ran this, he likes that. Just listen to the players. I know that's not a popular statement if you're a coach or an administrator, but look, and that's the other thing. Why are you doing it? I would look. I was doing it for the players. I was not doing it for me. The years that I got trapped and realized I was doing it for me, it was because of accolades, and I kind of got sucked into people thinking I'm a guru, a defensive guru. But guess what happened? Spank, 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 spank. Didn't have to worry about that again. Because and that is the law of competition, if you ask me, right? It's also spiritual law, but I also believe it's the law of competition. Once you start reading your press clippings and you start believing what other people believe about you, opposed to what you pouring into people to get what you're getting done, I'm telling you, you'll get knocked off the throne quick. You'll get knocked off your seat quick. And the only way to recover, I know it's I'm preaching. Only way to recover is to really reject everything that you thought you knew and start over from scratch. All right. So anyway, I'm giving this game to the Dolphins. And again, I can see it being a shootout. The Dolphins are 5-3. They're not a pretty 5-3 because a lot of emotional trauma has happened to the Dolphins. A lot. And I commend the coaching staff. I commend the players for still blocking all of the noise out there. And so being 5-3, beating the Lions last week, and now going to Chicago, I think the Dolphins will be able to pull this out in the midway. All right, let's keep rolling. Hey, here you go. Here's a pick for you if you ever had one. I'm gonna tell you the Panthers will beat the Bengals. The Bengals are 4-4, and right now they are almost like reorganizing how to have the offensive success that they had prior to this year, because Chase is not, Mixon is not, Shotgun Burrow. I mean, don't get me wrong, being 4-4 though, and their division is not a bad place to be. But again, here's going back to the intro of my statement, okay? Intro of the show. If you have a bad team and good coaches, they will coach up a team to get the most out of the team. And if you have a good or average team at home, what else do I need to say? Like, you have one team fighting for survival, and you have one team who feels like they're in the race, but it's just not working out. Who do you think are coming in more motivated? And keep this in the highlighting notes on your betting notes or your tallies. Who went to the Super Bowl last? That always is your telltale, right? Always your telltale. All right, so we have a question? No, I thought we did. All right. So anyway, here we go. Let's keep back at it. Going into the next spot. All right. My Lions. You know it. You know it. I gotta talk about my Lions. I saw an awesome T-shirt about the Lions on Facebook. The T-shirt read, it had the Lions logo, and so you had to look at the T-shirt to see what the word said. And in the words, it said Lions make you want to drink. Yeah, they do. They do. Oh, but here's what I'll tell you, people. The 1-6 Lions are still a dangerous team for a straggling Green Bay team. Yeah, Green Bay is like a team that's nondescript right now in their approach. And unfortunately, you know, the senior executive over there is a player. And that man is Mr. Rogers. And so with Mr. Rogers being the senior executive over there, calling out the head coach, in the media, mind you, not like on a tweet. In fact, none of it would have mattered. Whatever he felt or had to say, he should have left in-house and just kept to himself. But then again, yeah, he's been with 3 different ball coaches. He has a Super Bowl. He has 3 MVPs. He's the most decorated employee over there at Green Bay right now. And so, being that he's a player, does this put him in a space of leadership or neglect? Like, to neglect that whatever he says is going to get ostracized and everyone's going to point the finger. Or is it leadership because everything's going to get ostracized and force people to question, what are we doing? If your quarterback says we might need to reel it in a bit, reel the plays in a little bit, and he says that publicly, Mr. Rogers is not a rookie with the media, which also lends to say he's attempted to have that conversation, if not had that conversation, not several times, but at least twice. Because right now, they've only played 8 games. This will be the 9th game. So at the point where they probably got on the losing skid, Mr. Rogers, he said something. He said something to the staff about how the players transitioning and translating, how they transition from the board to practice, and then that translates from practice to the game field. The result should be a high-level execution, which will result in more W's. Okay? You following? All right. Because that's not happening, Roger's saying, hey, like, we need to reel it back in. We need to reel in the playbook a little bit. Saying it publicly, I'm telling you, he's already tried to express that privately. And being that he is the most experienced Green Bay employee, I'm saying that's a leadership move, not an ego move, nor am I saying that he's trying to call out the coaches directly, but it had to be done because he's no rookie with the media. And at that level, the media can serve a purpose because coaches use the media to serve the same purpose. And today's player understands that, and they are not afraid to use that, especially if they're as seasoned as the Green Bay quarterback, Mr. Rogers. But they are playing my Lions, and I'm a Lion loyalist. I'm loyal to the brand, and I'm a loyal fan. And so I'm saying the Lions will go get it done. Lions get it done by 3. Mark my words, we're at home. The Lions, the people of the D, they go still come and support because that's what we do. It's not I'm not going because they stink. I'm going regardless. Like, people go show up in Detroit and Green Bay, stumbling and bumbling through the division and outside of the division. I'm going to say this just adds to the frustration of Green Bay and the frustration of their quarterback, Rodgers, giving the edge, the slight edge to Detroit. It's a slight edge, but I'm giving it to the D. All right, moving on. Raiders and the Jags. I love the Jags coaching staff. I love the Raiders coaching staff. The problem that I have with the Raiders coaching staff, and I spoke to the Raiders being a contender, it turns out that I might be wrong here. And I say might because you will be able to get in the playoffs 8 and 9. 500 might get you in based on your division. Let's put it that way. And they still can, they 3 games from 500, and who knows, right? I'm saying you could be 10 and 5 and be like, oh, they went on a run. Now, here's the problem, and unfortunately, I live in New England, and because I live in New England, the problem is New England. Like, why are we courting? And I say we. That's why I'm wearing my Patriot stuff. We go get into them right after this. Why am I, as a New Englander, courting Daniels at the Raiders? I mean, nostalgia, like, we need to get it back of old. I get it. I worked for a guy every year that I was gone. He tests my temperature. I ain't mad at him. Every year that I have not been with him, he has always reached out. Hey, how we doing? What you got going on? You wanna come back? Every year. So I guess I'm not mad at the fan base, the Patriot Nation fan base. And unfortunately, that cry out to Josh coming back in Las Vegas is not New England. It is not Foxborough, wherever he lived in the New England area. I think that's the number one issue right now that the Raiders have. I think Josh Daniel will be fine. I think they got the quarterback that they need. And because they're playing at the Jags, I'm going Raiders. I think the Raiders being in Las Vegas is still an issue. Not only for teams that play Las Vegas, but for Las Vegas. I mean, it's ingenious, but that's a whole lot of distraction. I still believe it. I still believe it to be true. And the last time the Raiders went on a legitimate run was the year before they moved out of Oakland. And that was the year, unfortunately, Carr got hurt. All right, Patriots. Which brings us into the natural flow of the New England Pats. All right. And I'm going to only talk about them and a few more teams. New England, they beat the Jets. I said that they would beat the Jets because I said the Jets was going to get cute. I said the Jets should beat New England if they run the ball and don't have Wilson have to win the game. It's on record. Go through my feed. I'm not even boasting. I'm just saying the Jets is a better team than the Pats. And I love Coach Salam. Like, he's from Dearborn, Michigan. Much love. One of my former players is a coach for the Jets. Much love. I have a lot of reasons why I like the Jets. Okay? Them losing to the Patriots was all a byproduct, unfortunately, of asking Zach Wilson to do more than what he can do. And he has a tendency of doing a whole lot of too much. Not only does he have a tendency of doing too much, he also has been hit too many times on the front end of his career. So any flash of a different color that's in his depth perception, he getting out of the pocket. And so he's dealing with sack PTD. He's dealing with sack post PTSD, sack PTSD. That's it. I don't want to get into all of that. I was about to, though. I don't know why either. All right. So because of that, this is just fitting because of the two teams. The Patriots in New England will beat the Colts. Mark that. Why? Because the Colts are still trying to figure out who, what, and how to like get their culture together. There's a few reasons why that's taking place. One, obviously, we all know quarterbacks play a big part in that. And because and because here's the ultimate reason why the Pats beat the Colts, because the Colts have to the Colts defense has to game plan two quarterbacks. And for everybody who thought that was like, he playing two quarterbacks, you can't do that in NFL. Listen, he 4-4. This man Bill Belichick is playing chess, not checkers, right? Why are you saying that, Coach? Well, because at the time that he had played both Zappy and Mac Sauce, like the game was already out of hand. And so now the opponent of the following week has to make some decisions on who he playing, who we go game plan. All right, let's do a Zappy game plan and a Sauce game plan. You know how much time that is? You know how much he putting in it? Now, all of those players got to say, okay, in the middle of the game, if they go Zappy, we going here. If they are Mac Sauce, we going here. Now, a good defensive coordinator not doing all that. He not. Just the game plan for either one of them. Now, we're eliminating plays based on who is who. And I may have some circle plays designed just for whoever the starter will be, whether it's Zappy or Mac Sauce. But game planning two quarterbacks and two quarterbacks being on game film, I'm telling you, as a defensive coach, is a pain in the neck. And that's why the Colts will lose to the Pats. And that's why the Pats just might win out. Because you got a game playing two quarterbacks. You got 4 games of Zappy and 4 games of Mac Sauce. And every week, and the fan base and the media is doing the Pats a favor by continue talking about the two quarterback system, because the louder the noise, the more it penetrates into the facility, the more it penetrates into the coordinator, the more it penetrates into the play call, and the play call dictates how the player plays. That is Bill Belichick Jedi ball. You've been mind tricked. Flat out. Okay, which brings us to the Jets. Jets. The Jets should get this done against the Buffalo Mafia. Yes, I think they will. Why? One, because they in New York. The Jets are built to kind of play a team like Buffalo. Buffalo doesn't do a lot of blitzing, not one. So now the footage and the game plan and the data may show Buffalo need to blitz the Jets, because I'm almost betting the data shows that. But what I've learned is most coordinators don't like to adapt to the data if they got 4 war daddies up front that can apply pressure without blitzing. And if Whether or not they can apply pressure without blitzing, I think a 4-man pressure for the Jets plays into the hands of Wilson, and the defense that the Jets has, I think, will give my man Josh Two-Man Allen some difficult. I see the Jets coming up with at least 2 turnovers on Josh Allen or the running backs. Now, I also could see the Jets turning the ball over, but again, I'm giving the upset to the Jets, which will put the Jets at a 6-3 and move the Bills down to 6-2. Now, how do they play that out in terms of ties and first whatnot? But that's what my call is. And you can call me out on it right here next week or even Saturday if you like. All right, let's move forward. Last few teams, and the only reason the last few teams is because it's the quarterbacks who once were, who still are, and they both have Super Bowls. Tom Brady, my man Stafford. Matty Stafford, Tommy Brady. What you gonna do? I'm saying Tom Brady beats Matty Stafford, but that's gonna be a game that I would say to sit down and enjoy. Comes on at 425. It's definitely after church, so you shouldn't have no reason not to check that one out. Here's what I'm gonna tell you. The reason why Tom Brady will beat the Rams, or Tampa Bay will beat the Rams, is because the Tampa Bay defense is getting pressured from every angle imaginable. Every angle imaginable. If you don't watch my man Warren Sapp, go watch Warren Sapp handle. He be going at Tampa Bay D-line and being a defensive line coach. Sapp, I'm going to be straight up with you. You not wrong. You not wrong. I don't want to go through the footage like that and be shining on them boys like that, but you're not wrong. And because the D-line coach over there, I got mad love for her. And she can coach, but they over there tripping. The D-line, and this ain't a coaching thing. This is a whole player thing. And because Sapp called for, look, if you a D tackle and you got that C on your chest, you got to be bringing that funk every snap, bro. I'm just telling you. Every D tackle that I ever had that had that C on their chest, they will shut down a period. That's how dope you got to be if you're a captain and you a D tackle. You will shut down a practice period. And when I say that, that means they run outside, you on your hood like, take off. Nope. 1 yard. Period. You will shut down a period. They try to throw 3-step. PBU. They try to throw 5-step. Sack! D tackles, or for that matter, D linemen. Because at the end, you can run on a completely opposite side of him. Opposite side of he. But a D tackle, he in the middle. If he's sideline, vertical on you too in the pass run game, he can shut down a period. And if he got the captain tag, he's supposed to be shutting down periods. And so that's why I'm giving it to Tampa Bay, not because of Tom Brady, but because Warren Sapp been challenging a defense, and Sapp Dog is Sapp Dog, flat out. I bang with Sapp, and Sapp, I'm watching. I'm sure a lot of people are watching. And look, there's no excuse for the way that defense is playing, because that defense is dope. Period. All right, and it should be dope. And Coach Bowles is dope. They taking plays off, and they shouldn't have to. That's the number one issue I got with them. And because I promise you that's been rectified, I'm gonna tell you the offense will do what they're supposed to do, and the defense is gonna put a vice grip on the Rams. All right, Titans and the Chiefs. All right, I got coaches on the Titans. No coaches. Actually, man, I see. I'm having another Coach Argas moment. One of the head scouts at the Chiefs played for Coach Argas. I think he is the director of the scouting department for the Chiefs. I'm not going to shout his name out just because I'm not sure he knows if Coach Argas passed away. I will have to reach out to him and make sure. Okay, so now with that being said, we coached him at a small college called Central Connecticut, and he's done a great job in the personnel department and signing and recruiting and scouting the Chiefs Super Bowl team. All right. And I also have coaching colleagues, friends, partners, homies, cousins on the Titans. And so being that I have two respected colleagues, friends, coaches, players, etc. on both teams, I'm going to keep it 100 with you. I'm going to give this one to the Titans because the Titans have to be able to win on the road. They have to be able to generate positive run yards. They have to control the time of possession. If they control the time of possession on the Chiefs get into somewhat of a panic situation. Now, when I say they get in a panic situation, that serves for a few, that could serve good and bad because of Holmes the Magnificent. This dude, if you press him and you blitz them and you get them where they know the clock's ticking, they worried about how long they gonna have the ball, they'll go 2 minutes 4 wide and do some fast, funky stuff. And now it's more pressure on the Titans defensively. But even with that pressure that the Titans will be taking on, I think it still benefits them to do this. Hey! 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 Oh! That's how you beat them, right there. Now, with that being said, I got players on the Chiefs. My man J.Y. been doing his thing. He got like 4 touchdowns on the year, got traded over to the Chiefs after winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady, playing for the Tampa Bay for 2 years. So shout out my man J.Y. And shout out the Titans, yeah. But I'm giving this game to the Titans by 3. All right, last game. We don't talk Monday night because Monday night is too far away. But I'll say this. Don't sleep on Lamar. Action Jackson. My name is Coach Malik Hall. This is Catch Up with Coach. You are officially caught up. Peace.